This is Fitness Blender's strength training for fat loss. In this workout, we're going to be doing 14 repetitions of 8 different exercises, and we're going to be going through 3 rounds. The total time is about 26 minutes, and make sure you add in a warm-up and a cool-down on your own, as it's not included in this routine. You're going to need various weights of dumbbells or an adjustable dumbbell set for this routine. Let's go ahead and get started with round number 1. Our first exercise is the bicep curl plus a kick. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So that curl motion, bring those dumbbells up to that shoulder nice and tight, keeping those elbows back behind that rib cage. At the same time, you're going to do a kick. So try to keep your torso as straight up and down as you can, and alternate back and forth between legs, bringing one up at a time, kicking it straight out in front of you, nice slow controlled motion, then nice and slow back down at the same time as bringing those dumbbells back down. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control, trying to get as full range of motion out of that arm and that leg as you can. That was your last one right there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the bridge with a skull crusher. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. That bridge motion is squeezing those hips up really nice and high, putting all that pressure into those heels. And then that skull crusher is keeping that upper arm straight up and down from on top of that shoulder, and then extending that arm from by your head all the way straight up over top of that shoulder and nice and slow back down. You want to try to get as much range of motion out of those arms as you can. So if you want to keep those hands split apart, you can actually get those hands down by those ears. Otherwise, you can keep those hands squeezed together and you'll bring them right over top of that forehead, then press them right back up again. Just try to keep that upper arm as straight up and down as you can, at the same time as squeezing those hips as tight as possible. Just 2 more repetitions. Last one, tight squeeze. And let it relax. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We're doing the leg lift chest press crunch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. We've actually got 3 different motions going on here. That leg lift with a chest press, and then crunching up at the top. So that leg lift is just drop those legs down as far as is comfortable, trying not to let that lower back lift off the ground. That chest press is more kind of like a chest fly. Those arms come straight out to the sides, right back over top of that chest. And then once you get up to the top, those legs are straight up and those arms are over top of that chest. You're actually going to do like a toe touch crunch and push those dumbbells up towards those ankles or up towards those toes. Now it's really important when you're doing this exercise to really watch those legs, watch that lower back. Only drop those legs as far as you can control, otherwise you might actually stress that lower back if it lifts up too much off the ground. So keep those abs really nice and tight, shoving that belly button and that back flat down against that mat, only letting those legs drop out until that lower back starts to lift a little bit, then pull those legs right back in. And just 2 more repetitions. Drop those legs down, those arms out, and crunch it up nice and high. We got 1 more to go. Those legs and arms go back down, and crunch it back up. Nice tight squeeze, and let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise, the deadlift reverse fly. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Keeping that back perfectly flat, you're going to tip forward from that hip. Once you get down to about parallel to the ground, you're going to bring those arms up and out to the side, straight out from those shoulders as high as you possibly can. Nice and slow, dropping back down in front of that chest, and then stand back up, hinging only from that hip joint. Remember, you want to keep that back perfectly flat. To do that, it'll actually help a little bit if you tilt that chest forward, like you're actually trying to tilt it up towards the wall in front of you. Now, if you want to actually lower the tension on that back a little bit, you can actually bend those knees out. Keep that a little slight bend in that knee to make it a little bit easier for that deadlift motion. The straight leg deadlift like we're doing here is actually a little bit harder than doing a regular deadlift with your knees bent. So just focus on keeping that back nice and flat, those knees as straight as is comfortable, And then when you do that reverse fly motion, just a little bit of a bend in your elbow and trying to get those arms as high as you can without swinging. And just 2 more repetitions. Keep focusing on keeping that back nice and flat. As you get more tired, it's going to want to round on you. This is your last repetition right here. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise. The side leg lifts with an overhead press. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and bring those hands up to about shoulder height. You're going to press those dumbbells straight up over top of your shoulder. End with your elbow almost completely straight. You want to keep that elbow just a little bit soft. Don't lock it out. Then nice and slow back down to shoulder height. All at the same time as lifting that leg, one leg at a time, out to the side. Let's go ahead and switch sides. We're going to do the same motion with that opposite leg this time. We're nice and slow. Press those arms up as that leg comes up. And as those arms come back down, that leg slowly comes back down. Just make sure you're keeping that motion nice and slow under control. The slower you go, the easier it's going to be for balance, but it's actually going to be harder for endurance. And that was your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. We're going to switch over to the next exercise, arm circles with butt kicker march. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Get those feet going, kicking that butt back and forth, just alternating each foot. Getting those arms swinging. You want to make a nice circle right around that shoulder joint. You don't want to do a low circle down by your chest. You actually want it really, really nice and high up around that shoulder joint. You want the top of that circle actually over top of your shoulder and the lower part of that circle just about armpit level. Just make sure you keep that pace nice and even. We're almost done with this one. We're going to switch direction on those arms in just a second. And go and reverse the direction on those arms and switch from a butt kicker to a high knee march. So those knees are going to come up straight in front of that body, just walking back and forth, just doing a marching motion. Same thing, keeping those arms going in that nice circle, just in the opposite direction you were doing before. Almost done, just a few seconds left. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the lunge with a lateral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're doing a reverse lunge, so you're actually going to be stepping back behind you to do this lunge. As you step back and lunge down, those arms are going to come straight up out to your sides. You're going to stop just about shoulder height. If you want to push them up a little bit higher than that, that's perfectly fine, but you don't want to go all the way over your head. Just keep that hand just about shoulder height. And then focus on that lunging motion. Every time you step back behind you, you want to try to make sure that your weight is evenly dispersed from front to back leg, and you want to make sure you're alternating those legs every single time. And that was your last repetition right there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is a side squat with a ventral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So you're going to squat down, stepping off to the left and then off to the right. At the same time as you squat down, you want to bring those dumbbells straight up in front of that chest so they're coming straight off of that shoulder. Now, every single time you go down, that chest is actually going to tip forward just a little bit to help you kick those hips back behind you as far as you can to make sure you're keeping that weight back in your heel rather than up on your toe. Now, because you're using weight, even though it's not much, you want to make sure you're really focusing on keeping that back perfectly flat the entire time. And that's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. And that was the end of round number 1. We're going to go ahead and start up round number 2 here in just a second. All right, let's go ahead and start round number 2, starting back over with a bicep curl and a kick. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember that nice slow curl motion, bringing that hand up to that shoulder, keeping those elbows tucked back behind you, and then kicking that leg, alternating back and forth every single time. Making a nice, slow, controlled motion, getting a full extension on that leg. Just one more in each leg. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. We'll move on to the next one, the bridge with a skull crusher. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring those hips up really nice and high at the same time as pulling those dumbbells up over top of those shoulders. Remember, you want to keep that elbow directly above that shoulder joint the entire time. All that motion from that upper arm is just coming from around that elbow, not that shoulder. And then focus on those hips, squeezing up as tight as you can every single time, pressing those hips up as high as possible. Just one more repetition. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The leg lift chest press crunch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Start with those legs straight up in the air, hands right above that chest. Drop those legs down, those arms out, then bring them right back up, and then crunch up towards the top. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control. Remember, don't let those legs drop any further than you control, any further than you can go without letting that lower back lift up off the ground. Remember to keep those abs nice and tight, pressing that belly button down towards that spine, pressing that lower back flat against that mat as tight as possible the entire time. Just 2 more repetitions. Drop those legs, bring those arms out, back up, and then crunch it. 1 more repetition. And that last crunch, nice tight squeeze, and let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the deadlift with a reverse fly. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Keep that back perfectly flat. Hinge only from that hip joint, not that lower back. Tip forward as far as you can until that chest is about parallel to the ground. Keep that chest tilted up. Do that reverse fly motion, pulling those arms up and out to the side about shoulder height. Try to get them up to about chest level, and then nice and slow let them drop back down. Then come back up from that deadlift. Just keep alternating back and forth. Remember, if you need to make it just a little bit easier, if you have really tight hamstrings, you might want to bend that knee just a little bit. And just 2 more repetitions. Remember to keep that back nice and flat. It's probably getting nice and tired by now. This is your last one. And let it relax. All right, let's go on to the next one, the side leg lift with an overhead press. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring those dumbbells up to those shoulders. Press them straight up above your head as you lift one leg up off to the side. Slowly let them drop back down as that leg drops back down. Just keep on the same leg, pressing up, lifting that same leg over and over again. We're going to switch here in just a second. And go ahead and switch sides. Same exact motion, just lifting that opposite leg. Remember, you want a full extension of those arms, but don't lock those elbows out all the way. You want to keep those elbows just a little bit bent, and then bring them all the way back down until that hand is just about shoulder height. Just 1 more repetition. And let it relax. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The arm circles with butt kickers and a march. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Starting with those butt kickers first, circling those arms. Nice big circle, about 6 to 12 inches in diameter. You want to keep it right around that shoulder joint. The top of that circle is over top of your shoulder. The bottom of that circle is about armpit level. Just keep those feet alternating back and forth. And we're almost done. We're going to reverse direction here in just a second. And go ahead and swap the direction. So reverse the direction and then switch those feet out. So now instead of doing butt kickers, you're now going to be doing a nice high knee march. So get those knees up as high as you possibly can. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Make sure you're keeping that circle nice and big as well, still around that shoulder joint. And just about 5 seconds left. Keep those arms going. Keep those knees nice and high. They're probably starting to get nice and tired. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and move on to the next one, the lunge with a lateral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and step back into that reverse lunge, stepping back behind you, alternating your legs every single time. As you step back, you're going to bring those arms up in a lateral raise, bring them straight out to your sides, just about shoulder height. They're a little bit higher, and then nice and slow back down as you step back up out of that lunge. Just make sure you keep alternating back and forth with that lunge and trying to bring those arms up nice and straight out to those sides. Keep that torso straight up and down the entire time. And just 2 more repetitions. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the side squat with a ventral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Squat down to the side, come back up to center, then squat off to the opposite side. Every single time you drop down, you want to bring those dumbbells straight up in front of that chest, just about shoulder height. Remember, tip that chest forward just a little bit. Make sure you squat down really nice and low every single time, keeping that back perfectly flat. And just 1 more on each side. It's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, that was the end of round number 2. We're going to start round number 3 in just a second. All right, let's go ahead and get started with round number 3, starting back over with a bicep curl and kick. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Start that kicking motion. Nice slow curl every single time. Bring that dumbbell right up to that shoulder, keeping those elbows back, and get that full extension on that leg, alternating each time. And just 1 more kick on each leg. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the bridge with a skull crusher. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring those hips up really nice and high, getting a tight squeeze in that butt, shoving those hips up. And then at the same time, bring those dumbbells straight up over top of that shoulder, bending only at that elbow, keeping that elbow directly above that shoulder joint. Just make sure it's a nice, slow, controlled motion, getting a tight squeeze on that butt, full extension on that arm. We're almost done, just 2 more repetitions. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the leg lift with a chest press crunch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Get those legs straight up above those hips, those hands right above that chest. Slowly drop those legs out and those arms out. Slowly bring them back up and then crunch up towards those toes. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control. Remember, keep that back nice and flat against that mat. Only drop those legs as far as you can control without letting that lower back lift up. Just 2 more repetitions. Nice slow controlled motion. Nice tight squeeze at the top of that crunch. Last one. Slowly drop them out. Get those legs as low as you can control. And right back up. Tight squeeze. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The deadlift with a reverse fly. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Nice flat back, hinging only from that hip joint, tipping straight forward until you're parallel to the ground, and then pulling those arms up and out to the side, up to chest height or higher if you can, straight off from that shoulder. And we're almost done. Just 2 more repetitions. Nice flat back, tilting that chest up. Last one. And let it relax. All right, let's move on to the next one, the side leg lift with an overhead press. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring those hands up to those shoulders, press straight up over top of your head at the same time as lifting one leg up off to the side. Just keep repeating that same leg. Nice full extension on those arms with a little bit of a soft elbow so that elbow's just a tiny bit bent to the top. Just got a few more repetitions. And go ahead and let that one relax. We're going to switch sides, so that same exact motion, just lifting that opposite leg this time. Just 2 more repetitions. Really squeeze that leg up there nice and high, full extension of those arms, and let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the arm circles with the butt kickers and a march. Go ahead and get ready. And begin, starting with those butt kickers first. Get those arms up nice and high, doing a nice big circle, pushing forward. Remember, you want about 6 to 12 inches in diameter. Nice and slow, kick those feet at the same time, bring that heel up to that butt, just alternating back and forth every single time. Just about 5 seconds left. And go ahead and switch direction of those arm circles, and then switch that butt kicker to a high knee march. Driving those knees up as high as possible every single time, alternating back and forth, as well as keeping those arms nice and big, nice big circle, 6 to 12 inches apart. Just about 5 seconds left. And let it relax. All right, let's move on to the next one, the lunge with a lateral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin doing that rear lunge, the reverse lunge, as well as doing that lateral raise. So every time you lunge back, make sure you bring those arms up nice and high to about shoulder height or higher if you can. Then nice and slow, step it back up as those arms come back down. Just keep alternating back and forth with those legs, making sure you bring those arms nice and straight up with keeping that back perfectly flat. Just one more in each leg. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the side squat with a ventral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Squatting off to one side, stepping back up, and then squat down to the opposite side every single time, bringing those arms straight up in front of that chest. You want to keep that back nice and flat, tilted forward just a little bit. Make sure those hips are kicked back behind you really far. Get a nice deep squat every single time. So one more squat to each side. And let it relax. All right, good job. You just finished Fitness Blenders Strength Training for Fat Loss.